Hi, I'm Cynthia Cabrera. I am Chief Strategy Officer for Hometown Hero and the President of the Texas Hemp Business Council. The Texas Hemp Business Council, in conjunction with Hometown Hero, has been doing a lot of work behind the scenes for the past, I want to say 6 months, but it's really been a year that we've just been putting things, laying the groundwork about what's going on, and now we're in crunch time. If my math is correct, we're at 21 days and counting. We have a committee substitute to SB3 that is in play right now, and it is just an all-out effort. It's a little bit complicated, the all-out effort, meaning what we do at the Capitol and the legislators that we engage with, because there's also distinct messaging that's going out about the same issue, so it complicates things somewhat. But THBC has always worked, and Hometown Hero have always worked on protecting all categories for the entirety of the hemp industry. So from the farmer all the way to the finished good product, and also consumer accessibility, right? So we have, Texas Hemp Business Council has 5 lobbyists, and Hometown Hero has 3 lobbyists. So between these 8 lobbyists, we have spread out, the messaging is going out, and really, right now, as of today, which is May 14th, the messaging right now is that the committee substitute for SB3, which is CSSB3, is not acceptable as written. It's an effort to some sort of regulation, but there are just way too many issues with it. And so, again, we come back to the complications in that we're offering amendments that attempt to protect all of the industry. But, other groups have, kind of decided that they have to settle for scraps, or they've decided what part of the industry it is that they want to protect. And so they're only talking about that versus everything that's bad with the bill. And the problem with taking or trying to just fix one tiny part of the bill or any bill without looking at the overall scheme is that you still end up with a bad bill. So if we try to just get one thing, or we just try to get another thing, one part of the industry will be disadvantaged. And what that means is that there's some segment of business owners and consumers that are going to be screwed by whatever concessions are given up. And I know that some groups, one group, and some folks are really feeling the heat. And I will say this is not for people who are faint of heart. You have to be willing to exist on no sleep. And I'm sick right now. And, we just have to do it. We don't go for settling. We don't go in for settling for scraps. We don't go in. We try to do the best for everybody. So what's happening right now is kind of like for fans of Star Trek. It's that episode, I don't remember what it's called, but it's pretty famous, and it's the one where Spock is talking about how the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And that's kind of what we're looking at here. We have folks that are just focusing on one section or offering up little concessions that will allow them to survive versus focusing on the needs of the many, which is that we need as robust an industry as humanly possible. Recently, somebody asked me what it is I thought, what we thought we were doing, or what was our goal. And I said, our goal has always been the same as it's been every year, which is to maintain as much of the industry as possible in the way it is right now. That's not to say that some amendments aren't helpful or aren't needed or something like that, but we want to maintain the majority of this industry as intact as possible. And this person said to me, well, that we should just accept the scraps they give us. And no, I don't know that. And I don't know how this is going to end because, again, folks are off doing their own thing, and it makes it very difficult. So there's a theory out there that the more differing amendments that are offered, meaning, group of amendments A and then group of amendments B, and they're all conflicting and against each other, that makes it easier for a bill to die because there's just so much disagreement. But what that fails to consider is that the legislature doesn't have to reconcile all those amendments among industry members. They don't have to do anything. They either have to pass a bill or not pass a bill. They can just as easily pick one set of amendments that potentially screws over other parts of the industry and just pass it that way. Of course, they can always choose to not pass something, but what we're talking about is forcing legislators to then look at hundreds of different amendments that have been offered by, different organizations. As we speak right now, we have to consider the fact that, people want to slip something into a different bill, but putting regulation into a different bill, for example, an age gate. Putting an age gate into another bill requires that it be a bill that has a helpful author, that it has a companion in the House, that there is somebody who's willing to put in that amendment, that it is germane to our issue, meaning it is directly relevant to our issue. So, for example, you wouldn't be able to put an age gate or another regulation into an agriculture bill because it wouldn't be germane, right? It would have to go into a different section. So there are a lot of good ideas out there, and I know that people are panicked. I'm on like no sleep. So I understand that people are panicked, and now of all times is the time not to panic. Like, I know that people get up to the wall and they're like, well, let's just take what we can get, or let's just throw everything at it, or let's just do whatever, or accept whatever. But that is not strategic. It's not tactical, and it's not strategic. Anybody who plays war games knows that that is the case, and this is our own little war that's being waged on us right now. So as a reminder, this is a $10.2 billion industry in Texas, and we didn't get that by giving up scraps. We didn't get that by making a bunch of concessions. We got that the 2 times they've tried to kill us before, and in our lawsuit by fighting back full throttle. We didn't hold anything back, and we just fought for what we wanted. And we did not get here by ignoring segments of the industry or be offering up other categories as a sacrifice. We didn't do it that way. And I'm not saying we, Texas Hemp Business Council, because we just came into existence a year ago. But Hometown Hero and our, the people who have supported us along the way, we knew that we had to fight to keep everything that we have. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. And again, it doesn't mean that we don't make reasonable concessions or that there are some of these amendments, for example, age restrictions, that we don't welcome, because we do welcome them. It means that we don't panic and we just don't give everything up at the last, in the last quarter of the game, right? So it's been a crazy 2025. I mean, 2024 was pretty crazy too, but it's been a crazy 2025, and we are in the final 3 weeks. And if you thought things were moving fast before, it is nothing compared to the blur of movement that we're gonna see in these next 3 weeks. So if this bill comes up for a vote, it'll be sometime in the next 2 weeks. So we need everyone to stay alert, head on a swivel, pay attention, and reach out to your legislators. If you still haven't done that, shame on you. Everybody needs to pull their own weight. Everybody needs to do what they have to do to protect the 53,000 jobs in this state. We need to do anything that we can and everything that we can so that these legislators get the message. If you haven't reached out to your legislators yet, do it now. If you already reached out to your legislators, do it again. And make sure that you're telling your customers and your friends and your family that there is an entire industry and 50,000 plus jobs at stake. We have 3 weeks. Things are going to be moving very, very quickly. Yesterday, there were 29 pages of bills that were meant to be heard in the legislature. Not 29 bills, 29 pages of bills that were meant to be heard, which means that they're either going to be there all the time and read thoughtfully and carefully through every bill, or they're going to start moving stuff because they need to clear their, just get it off their desks. When they do that, if they do that, you want to be sure that your phone call is still ringing in their head, that your emails and your messages to them are topmost in their minds, so that when they make a decision about whether to be thoughtful about something or just move it along, your thoughts are ringing in their heads. You need to influence these people. We are killing ourselves over here, and I hope that everybody out there is killing themselves too, obviously, metaphorically speaking, to reach this goal. THBC created a flyer, which is available on the website, and the link will be in this video as well. And that flyer should be in every single retail location. It should be in every business, and it will take less than 3 minutes for somebody to scan it, find their legislator, and contact them. Every customer, every person who says they care about these products has 3 minutes to do this. So now is the time to step it up. Every time somebody comes into your store, every time a colleague calls you, every time something business related happens, and when you go home at night and you talk to your family, tell them to scan that QR code and make sure that they're contacting their legislators. They don't have to look for it. They just have to use that. And THBC will send out that information again, that flyer. We'll send it out again today so that everybody has it. And if you don't have it, send us a message at info@texashempbusinesscouncil.com and we will get you the information that you need. But this is crunch time and we need everybody in the game. So those of you that know me know that my favorite expression is that I would rather die standing than live on my knees. And I want to hand it to every single person who has stood with me, who has agreed with that, who has jumped in and said, that is exactly right. This is a legal industry. We're not going to be treated like a bunch of criminals. And to all of you and all the supporters out there and everybody who has been busting their butts working on this, I want to say thank you. Hang in there. 21 more days. We can do this. We got this. And then afterwards, we'll have a big party and celebrate.